please. Not enough women here, but please. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to, first of all, thank Norway as President of the Council for convening today's meeting and for steering through the press statement that was adopted today unanimously by the Security Council. I'd like to make a few comments in my national capacity, but my colleagues here are standing with me as I make those. The UAE requested today's meeting following the heinous terrorist attacks by the Houthi militias against my country that killed 3 people and wounded 6 others, all of them civilians. The UAE cares deeply about our citizens and about the millions of people from around the world who have made our country their home. And so before saying anything else, I would like to extend my condolences, and I'm joined here by the Ambassador of India. I would like to extend my condolences to the families of the victims, including 2 Indian nationals and 1 Pakistani national, as well as to their governments. We mourn Hardeep Singh, an Indian national who had been in the UAE for 5 years. We mourn Hardeep Singh, an Indian national, a father of 1 who had made the UAE his home for 15 years. And we mourn Mansoor Khan, a Pakistani father who had been a member of our community for 22 years. Their lives mattered to us and to everyone standing here today. Today, the Council has spoken with one voice that this egregious aggression by the Houthis, as well as the proliferation of missile and other technology that enabled the terrorist attack, is a clear threat to the entire international community. As the Houthis themselves have claimed responsibility, there is no question as to who must be held to account. The Council has made it clear in its statement today that more international action is needed to address the Houthi threat and hold them responsible. We are strongly encouraged that the Council has unanimously joined over 100 countries and international organizations in strongly condemning the Houthi terrorist attack, a flagrant violation of international law. We have also asked that the Council remain seized of this matter. The UAE furthermore asserts the sovereign right to defend itself, our people, and our way of life as any nation in the same situation would do. This meeting and this statement are a clear indication of the concern that the international community takes at these attacks. More than 200 nationalities call the UAE home, and more than 60,000 passengers transit through Abu Dhabi International Airport every day, which was one of the targeted by this Houthi attack. This terrorist attack threatened the lives not only of my fellow Emiratis, but of the citizens of every UN member state, as well as all the residents of the UAE. It is essential that the Security Council and the international community hold this terrorist Houthi militia to account for these crimes and to prevent future atrocities. And today's statement is a really important step towards that goal. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ambassador, you talk about your country's right to defend itself.
I'm not taking
Does that
any
explain
questions.
the deaths today in Sadr, where there may be as many as 60, maybe as many as 100 people killed? Is that acceptable?
Can I let my colleagues leave? Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually, for the Arab media here, going to read my statement afterwards. Thank you.
It's today's big news.
Can I read my statement again? Thank you. Do we have Arabic media here? Yes. صباح الخير. أود أن أشكر النرويج رئيس المجلس لهذا الشهر على عقد اجتماع اليوم وإلقاء البيان الصحفي الذي تم اعتماده من قبل المجلس بالإجماع. لقد طلبت دولة الإمارات عقد اجتماع اليوم عقب الهجمات الإرهابية الآثمة التي قامت بها ميليشيا الحوثي ضد بلادي، والتي قتلت 3 أشخاص وجرحت 6 آخرين، جميعهم مدنيين. إن دولة الإمارات تولي أهمية كبيرة لمواطنيها وللملايين من السكان الذين جاءوا من كافة أنحاء العالم ليتخذوا من دولة الإمارات وطناً لهم. لذلك وقبل ذكر أي شيء آخر أود أن أعرب عن خالص عزائنا ومواساتنا لعائلات وحكومات الضحايا، وهم مواطنين هنديين وآخر باكستاني، هارديب سينغ، منصور خان. لقد تحدث المجلس اليوم بصوت واحد بأن هذا العدوان الآثم من جانب الحوثيين وانتشار استخدام الصواريخ وغيرها من التكنولوجيا التي مكنت من شن هذا الهجوم الإرهابي يشكلون تهديداً واضحاً ضد المجتمع الدولي بأكمله. ولكون الحوثيين أنفسهم قد أعلنوا مسؤوليتهم عن الهجمات فلا يوجد أي شك حول من يجب محاسبتهم. لقد وضح المجلس من خلال بيان اليوم أن هناك حاجة لبذل المزيد من الجهود الدولية للرد على تهديد الحوثيين ومساءلتهم على أفعالهم. وما يشجعنا بشدة هو أن كل أعضاء المجلس بالإضافة إلى أكثر من 100 دولة ومنظمة دولية قد أدانوا بشدة الهجمات الإرهابية التي ارتكبها الحوثيون في انتهاك صارخ للقانون الدولي. وعليه لقد طلبنا أن تظل هذه المسألة قيد النظر في المجلس. ومثل أي دولة أخرى تؤكد دولة الإمارات على حقها السيادي في الدفاع عن نفسها وشعبها وأسلوبها في الحياة كما تفعل أي دولة أخرى. إن هذه الجلسة وهذا البيان يعدان مؤشراً واضحاً على القلق الذي يساور المجتمع الدولي إزاء هذه الهجمات، إذ هناك أكثر من 200 جنسية تعتبر دولة الإمارات وطنها، كما يمر يومياً أكثر من 60,000 مسافر ترانزيت عبر مطار أبو ظبي الدولي، والذي كان أحد المنشآت التي استهدفها الحوثيون لذلك. فإن هذا الهجوم الإرهابي لا يهدد حياتنا كإماراتيين فحسب، بل أيضاً حياة مواطني كل دولة عضو في الأمم المتحدة. من الضروري أن يقوم مجلس الأمن والمجتمع الدولي بمحاسبة ميليشيا الحوثي الإرهابية على ارتكابها لهذه الجرائم ومنع ارتكاب أعمال فظيعة في المستقبل. والبيان الذي اعتمد اليوم هو خطوة هامة تجاه هذه الغاية، وشكراً. James, sir.
The attack in Sadr today, you talked about defending yourself. Was that the UAE and the coalition defending itself? And how can a death toll, and no one's properly counted, but it's at least 60, some are saying more than 100 people, some of them in a detention centre, they may have been people on your side of the argument. How can that be acceptable?
I have just made, James, thank you for the question, and James, I've just made a presentation to the Security Council that we will be sharing details of with all of you in due course today, that details the origins of these attacks in Yemen and where they were targeted to in Abu Dhabi, that shows clearly that Sana'a, amongst other places of origin, were the place that these missiles, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and drones were launched indiscriminately at my country in order to target the maximum number of civilians and civilian infrastructure. Now, thankfully, the UAE is able to defend itself and will defend itself against all violations of international law, against all attacks, cross-border attacks against its sovereignty, and against all attacks against its way of life and its people. At the same time, and I want to make this clear because I think it's important, the attack on the UAE is an attack that is a violation against all international norms. It is a violation of international law. At the same time, it does not mean we do not support the UN envoy, the Secretary General, and the political process that needs to happen in Yemen for the security and future prosperity of the Yemeni people. And we have spent years supporting those efforts and will continue to do so.
But those sort of attacks, your defence under law has to be proportionate, does it not? And the President of the Council, Norway, speaking in a national capacity, said the attack that took place in Sadr was unacceptable.
What you have heard today, and you all know following the work of the Council that this is rare, what you have heard today is the unanimous condemnation by the Security Council against the terrorist attack against the United Arab Emirates on Monday the 17th of January.
I'm not asking you
and
that
is
I'm
rare.
asking about your response, whether it was proportionate, given that at least 60 people have died, maybe as many as 100.
I'd like to refer you to the Coalition's statement on that matter, but I'd also like to affirm here that the Coalition undertakes to abide by international law and proportionate response in all its military operations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's not secret that Iran is funding al-Houthis and they're giving them.
Colonel Majid, do we have updates على سفينة الروابي?
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll update you as soon as we have that. Still being held as far as we know. No news. Our spokesperson will update you as soon as we have it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, James.